Hey-ho, let's go. Thank you for joining us again this week on Game 4 Day. Actually, Game 3 of the National League. 4-pack of Major League Baseball divisional series matchups. We're here to keep you updated on all that. One of us is, we can call him Nervous Nelly because that's his last name, with the Yankees on again this week. But we'll keep you updated on the baseball. And we're also going to review the catcher and first base positions from the 2025 season with a look ahead to 2026. But before we get to all that fun, including Toronto taking a 2-1 lead just now, we begin the show by asking you the question, where else would you rather be than right here? Boom! Right now, yeah, I'm not embarrassed to wear the Raider hoodie, but yeah. You are looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now as the Jet fan shakes his head. You talk about ineptitude. Both of us. Episode 58 for our show, part of the ball9.com podcast network. How are you? Are you living and dying with Cam Schlittler here on the hill?
Sunday was one of the worst sports days of my life.
Yeah.
Because that shit show that I had to watch at 1 o'clock, if Penn State didn't lose on Saturday, it would have been the worst sports weekend I've ever experienced.
Oh, come on. Who couldn't see UCLA taking down the Nittany Lions?
Yeah, the 0-4 UCLA Bruins, like toiling in anonymity at the bottom of the
14-year-old offensive coordinator.
Not going against a guy that's like 177-0 against teams not in the top 25, and the absolute opposite of the teams in the top 25. Everybody saw that coming.
The best part about that, by the way, is James Franklin now has done a worse coaching job than I did with my fantasy baseball team this year. No. I didn't lose to UCLA.
That's true. That is, I mean, you lost to the Crushers, though. So, I mean,
yeah. I finished
that, toiling through that, and then having to roll immediately into the Yankees getting ass waxed. My son said, "What's for dinner on Sunday?" And I just looked at him and said, "I don't give a flying, like, eat fucking toilet paper. I got nothing for you. Nothing." And then Monday didn't make it any better. And now we're back and we're still breathing a little bit, and we're fisting balls, and Paul Goldschmidt can't catch because he's 150, but there's 2 outs and a runner at first, and unbelievable. But beyond that, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Red Sox and Mets fans tuned in tonight, because what else are you going to do? And I've never met a group of fans that are so happy at anybody else's team's misery than those two groups of fans. And Met fans are all over the place because they hate the Yankees. They hate the Phillies. When the Phillies lose, they're all excited. When the Yankees lose, they're all excited. Like, how about you got the second highest payroll in baseball and your team's fucking fishing or going on vacation in Cancun? How about shut up?
You're projecting again. You're projecting your Yankee. Yeah, it's the psychology. Well, not that I'm a psychology, but I'm married.
Okay, you need one, but you don't. I mean, but I'm married to one, so it's by osmosis. I've developed a psychological thought process. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly.
It's like I told a group of people today that I was with that because Tess is my daughter is a child psychologist. She talks to me like that, and then she gets me to answer questions that I otherwise wouldn't answer, and I never get more mad than when I'm like, first of all, stop giving me a therapy session because I'm the patron saint of lost causes. And second of all, why am I answering this question? How did you ask that question in a way that got me to answer? So I cut her out of my will.
There you go. Out of the pool.
$1. $1. The other 2 kids are thrilled because more for them.
Yeah. $20 more each.
But we're at the point in the season where we could focus on the playoffs mean nothing to fantasy baseball, except for possibly validation of who saved players are or trade value of top players. Like Vlad Guerrero.
And it's a great day to get Bobby Witt and Bryce Harper on your fantasy baseball team, as I did today.
Well, Vlad Guerrero has clearly raised
Yes.
his stock in the eyes of, because he had a pretty good year, like not the year that you would have thought coming like off that giant contract. He still had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
He's definitely put a stamp in this series on being one of the best, not only first base, but one of the best players in baseball, and validating the contract. So that gives you, if you're in a keeper league, that gives you pause to trade him, but it gives you desire to trade for him because he's playing to he's playing to live up to the contract.
He'll get those numbers back. I always get leery of guys that sign that big monster deal. Are they going to be a little different? There's a lot of pressure. Ask Juan Soto about that this year, or he got off to a sluggish start because
Well, the guy
with
that's going to
those
finish
numbers,
second in the MVP in the National League, that guy.
yeah. Oh, well, he finished up. I mean, the numbers there at the end of the year, but it wasn't all roses and sunshine for him during the year when people were getting on him for every little thing he did.
Right. Especially
That's the thing. All right.
Like
Where do you want to start? You want to start with catcher's first base, or you want to talk about some of these electric series?
You know what my thought was on the playoffs today? Is the focus going into the collective bargaining agreement on having to have a salary cap. Take the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Phillies out of the equation and look at the salaries of these teams. And baseball has a funny way of showing you what's real and what's not. And the Brewers the Dodgers are really good, and their pitching staff is really good. And he bullpenned his way through a World Series last year, and I give Dave Roberts a lot of credit for that. And this year, their starting rotation is off the charts. It's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. And the Phillies having to deal with Yamamoto tonight is no treat by any stretch of the imagination. But like, take those three teams out, and the payrolls dictate that you don't need a salary cap. You just need the Pittsburghs and the Miamis and the Tampas and those teams of this world to spend just a little bit more money wisely.
Yes.
Just a little bit more money wisely. Like the Brewers it's like watching a 1986 baseball game. Everything's in play. They scrap and they do what they do. And they knew they weren't going to pay Corbin Burns. What'd they do? They traded him to a team that didn't re-sign him. The demise of the Orioles, part 8. They acquire guys on the cheap. They develop guys. They plug and play. They're kind of the model of how mid-market and small market teams should be operating if they spent to between 90 and 110 million. That's the result you could have. Like, you don't need to spend, like, the second highest payroll in baseball is the team that's trolling their fans are trolling everybody because their team didn't even make the playoffs.
It's hockey season for those folks.
The sixth highest payroll team in baseball is now blaming everybody except for themselves as to why they're home and why Jaron Duran needs a fielding clinic and how they're going to sign, 2 players who are going to combine to $65 million in salary, which it's not going to happen. And any Red Sox fan with a brain would know that. Like, spending the money is one thing, but who you spend it on is more important.
This is true.
And then having a complete lineup, which the Brewers and the Tigers to some extent, and the Guardians showed with you. If you have a complete lineup where you can use everybody, then all of a sudden, and the Blue Jays, like, is Santander besides Guerrero? Is Santander their highest paid player?
He might be. What a disaster he was.
Oh, what a mess.
But it's funny with these series, and I looked the Seattle Detroit series. I was really looking forward to, and now you get, Seattle's up 3-0 today, and I'm like, wow, this team is they got all that pitching, they're getting the hitting, they're getting the home runs. They're going to be a tough group. They're going to the World Series, and about an hour later, they got to go face Scooble on Friday night, the best pitcher in the game,
Right.
in a do or die situation. It turned quickly today for Detroit.
Well, you throw Bryce Miller out there, and you know what you better score some runs.
He looked good for a while, and they yanked him out of their first sign of trouble.
Right.
And the bullpen blew up.
Yeah, Dan Wilson might have panicked a little bit today. The thing that's interesting about the playoffs is you see guys over and over and over again, and it catches up.
Yeah, but Bryce Miller had great numbers against Detroit in his career.
Like the more you use the bullpen, the more that they're seen by hitters. Like this bullpen game that Toronto's throwing tonight, though effective in some regards, if they bring Yuskevich in the sixth, it could be a big problem. The more you see guys, the more they're familiar. So if you see them 3 days in a row, you know what they're throwing.
Well, I always say about bullpen games, there's a reason why guys are in the bullpen. There's a reason why guy's a sixth inning guy. He's not good enough to be a starter, and he's not good enough to be your closer. So and those are the guys that can kill you.
So I was listening to MLB radio today when I was bombing around because I can't listen to the ESPN radio has decided they don't care about listeners anymore. And they were talking about that. And when bullpen games started, bullpen pitchers were like cast off starters, except for the closer. Everybody else in the bullpen was like, yeah, you're not good enough to be a starter. Exactly. But now that's no longer the case. So you're bringing in a different breed of reliever, and that's what makes bullpen games more effective. And the effectiveness of bullpen games has increased over time. They're probably more effective in the regular season because you don't see them X number of days in a row versus the playoffs, where in the playoffs you've probably already seen everything these guys have. You've probably already seen it. So I don't know. 2-1 Yankees going to the sixth, or 2-1 Blue Jays. Fuck Toronto. Fuck, you know what?
They great beer up there, though.
No, there's a lot of good things going on in Toronto.
Yeah,
the dancing's nice.
Entertainment. The entertainment.
Yeah, it's the entertainment. It's very artsy. There's a lot going on up there.
And it's hockey season for them. They can enjoy it up there until the playoffs start, until their team quits.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that the Maple Leafs rub off on the Blue Jays, and they get to the brink and then they choke, because it'd be very fashionable from a Toronto standpoint. The only team that can win a title up there apparently is the Raptors, and nobody cares about basketball in Toronto.
Yeah. Hey, quick before we move, quick question. Are the Phillies just that is just taking the air out of me? I couldn't wait for that series. Are the Dodgers just that good? They're taking the fun out of it, because they are taking
the fun out of it.
Yeah,
they are definitely taking the fun out of it, and they packed over 47,000 people into a 43,000 seat stadium for the first two games. But the warts of the Phillies from last year, when everybody was stunned that they didn't advance in the playoffs, you get the first three guys out, and there's nothing. There's you don't have to deal with anything else. If you can control Turner and Schwarber and Harper, which the Dodgers have done extraordinarily well, then the rest of the lineup, what's the fear in the rest of the lineup?
Yeah.
Alec Hall? No. Nope. Bryson Stott, he's platooning right now because he can't hit left-handers. Edmundo Sosa. I mean, Harrison Bader, no. Marsh, no. I mean, JT Realmuto is still a pain in the rear end, and we'll talk about him in a moment. But the rest of their lineup, not great, and they really, really miss Wheeler.
Yes, for sure.
And you knew that was going to happen, because when you remove one of the top, like we could probably at some point we would have said the top 3 pitchers in Major League Baseball,
Sure.
right? Screwball, Skeens, and Wheeler would have
Yeah.
easily been considered for top 3. And you could have put them in any order that you like and made an argument as to why. But in the playoffs, he's a different breed. And not having him against this Dodger lineup, pretty rough. But the Phillies have still been kind of like in it until they haven't been. And the wave of Dodgers and all these guys that they have that decide to show up October 1st.
Tostar Hernandez talking about you.
couldn't hit.
My God.
Like, stole money for a full season after the big contract and then said, oh, yeah, it's playoff time again. Let me get going.
Even with all that, it looked like the Phillies were good in game 2, and then Strom hangs one to Hernandez, and
he just hung it. And a tip pitch, even worse. Like this, Smoltz was talking about that tonight. Like this pitch tipping thing. He goes, everybody's up in arms about it. He goes, Pete, we've been working at, like, when I was playing, we were looking at pitch tipping.
Yep.
He was talking about a pitcher that had a mouth guard, and he bit down hard on it when he was throwing a fastball, and he popped half of it out of his mouth when he was throwing something off speed.
Wow.
And somebody picked it up, and they rocked him. And I mean, he opened up his glove. He showed his grip. I mean, what do you think they're going to do? People get on the Yankees for that all the time. Like, it's not like we're relaying signs with a microphone. What the hell?
It's not like you're wearing a wire around, right around a tattoo that's not quite finished, and you're embarrassed to show.
And then banging a trash can because it's a curveball. Like, it's not that.
No.
It's not like you're relaying signs from somebody sitting in center field, which does happen. It's not like you're using an Apple Watch to relay signs. That's also happened. It's just players on the field knowing what's coming and tipping people off. I mean, it's like pitchers have to be better. That's all. Pitchers have to be better.
For sure.
And I'm watching a pool cue shot against a half shift.
That was not the hardest ball Barger's ever going to hit, but he's on first base.
No, at least he didn't have to catch it. So let's go to a review and a look inside why both of us didn't win the league this year.
Great.
We're going to start with the postseason rankings. CBS.com's fantasy postseason rankings of catchers 1 through 12. 1 is easy, right? No kidding, right?
Yep.
Hunter Goodman ranks 2nd. Shea Langoliers, the Contreras brothers, Ben Rice, who had enough games to qualify as a catcher, Sal Perez. Austin Ramirez had a really good year. He can't catch anything, but he had a really good year. Ivan Herrera, who may or may not have had enough games to qualify as a catcher in our league.
Correct.
But he definitely had 5 games behind the plate to
Yeah.
qualify in most leagues. And he was a catcher last year. And for leagues that don't worry about this year's games played and they worry about last year's, he still qualified. Will Smith probably would have been second until he got hurt.
I think Will Smith would have been second until he got hurt. He is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's
I had him on my team for a short time. He is a great
good hitter and also a really good catcher. Drake Baldwin, who is going to get a ton of votes for National League Rookie of the Year. And then my guy, I can point to him. Still had a good year, but not the year that I thought he was going to have. Yainer Diaz. That's the top 12 ranked end of year catchers on CBS. So now we get to share with you why neither of us are all that bright. So I took our preseason rankings and then added in what a graphics change we've had since in 7 months. The preseason rankings that we both had, and I was shocked. I didn't think I was really, really surprised that either of us had Cal Raleigh ranked as high as we had him.
Yeah,
but we did.
Well, he hits home runs.
And then added in the final postseason rankings. And I think what of note.
At least I was right about Adley Rutschman.
Holy cats.
I got crucified during that show for ranking him so low as a catcher. I gave him too much credit. I love the guy. I love the guy, but he's the example of why that team sucked this year.
You know what I remember about the Rutschman conversation is we both agreed, despite the fact that we ranked them where we ranked them, right? 8 for you and 5 for me, that if you had a baseball team, not a fantasy baseball team, a baseball team going into this year, not at the end of the year for sure, going into this year, Adley Rutschman would be a guy you want catching on your team.
Yes.
But from a fantasy standpoint, not that great.
No.
We both were dreadfully wrong on Ohapi. He was awful. He took a massive step backwards this year. Like I had Yainer Diaz 3. You had him 10, which is far better than was far better. I mean, Wells, I was close. Stevenson, like I'll give Tyler Stevenson a little bit of a pass because he was hurt. He was injured, and he was injured he started the year injured, and he was still semi-productive.
Yep.
He was still semi-productive. I'm going to make this.
How many games? Do you have any idea how many games Wilson Contreras played at catcher? Because
I think 0.
It's not many. Yeah.
Pages caught most of the games there.
Okay.
I mean, if he caught 4 or 5, it's a lot.
Yeah. He won't be on this list next year.
He won't be on this list next year.
No.
I mean, Langoliers, I didn't have him. You did. You were very right on Langoliers, and I think I probably accused you of being a homer at the time, but
which I am. But the thing with Langoliers you got to remember is he's such a good bat. He DHs enough to where he plays more than the 135 games that most catchers play.
Well, they got a weird, like they have a weird thing there with Kurtz and Soderstrom and Langoliers, where like first base catcher rotation, like they can find a way to have all, and with the DH, you're gonna find a way to have all those guys in the lineup every day.
Yeah, and Rooker found his glove.
And he wasn't as good as we both thought he was going to be. Like Francisco Alvarez, that was a huge miss on him.
Yep.
Like he got sent down at one point this year. I mean, JT, you were high on JT, and he was still 16th, and he had a decent year, but he didn't have the wear and tear on him. I mean, he's the toughest bastard I think I've seen behind the plate in a long, long time. Like, he is tough.
Yep.
But how many games did Sal Perez catch this year? 15, 20, maybe?
Yeah, I rank him number 1 because I figure he's been there so long. I'm going to put him there until he gives me a reason to take him down.
I'm a little surprised he was 7th because offensively his numbers were still really good.
Yeah.
But Hunter Goodman was such a shocker. He'll probably win NL Rookie of the. I would think he would win NL Rookie of the Year. But yeah, like having Yainer Diaz 12 and then drafting him as early as I did is a good indication as to why I was trying to find a way to get in the money and not trying to get. Hey, Jimbo, but it's a good one.
James, how are you?
We'll see if he's as good a front office guy as he was a catcher based on who he hires for a manager there.
Yeah, and Jim, by the way, reveling in his Dallas Cowboys victory last Sunday against the aforementioned New York Jets.
Yeah, he's not reveling in the Battle of Florida and the U. Yeah, 92. That's a lot more than 92. I thought, Todd. That's far more than I thought he caught.
Todd could be the official statistician of this show.
He's the ombudsman. He'll be the ombudsman where he will. Please. Gee, Jim,
wait a minute.
Thanks for tuning in.
We have major breaking news here.
What is that?
The Boston Bruins are leading 1-0 on a goal by David Pastrnak.
Who are they going to lose to tonight?
The Caps.
Oh, and Washington. That's right.
In Washington. I benched Swayman because I didn't like the matchup well, but David Pasternak's on the board.
Yeah, Ovi will get 3 tonight, and
he's on my team too. And Swayman's on my bench, so that's okay.
The 2/3 capacity crowd. And the Metroplex will be all excited about that. People are afraid to do anything because they're afraid they're going to get arrested, so they don't go to anything.
Oh man!
So then we go to first base.
Yep.
No shock. No shock that Alonso, who had the best year, a little surprised that Naylor was second.
That's because of his stolen bases.
Cody Bellinger, who will not be on this list next year, was third. Rafael Devers, who might, I don't think so. I don't think he played enough games at first base to be a first baseman going in. Kurtz at 5, I feel is low. Olsen at 6. I mean, I think if you take Bellinger and Devers out and Kurtz at 3 and Olsen at 4, then it's starting to make some sense.
Well, right? Olsen, I mean, my God, he looked like old and slow, and then September hit, and he just went crazy. Maybe it's part of August, but
he spent so much time in Oakland that he's used to playing in meaningless games.
Well, he was
where
there
you're just adding your own stats.
He was there for good games till the October flame out in the 1-game wild card format.
That's true. Vladdy at 7, and his numbers would have dictated that compared to everybody else, despite the fact that his power numbers are way down.
Yeah.
Your guy, your favorite player in baseball, Freddie Freeman at 8. Vinny Pasquantino, I told you, I think he should be higher. He had a tremendous year.
I was wrong on Pasquantino. I was right on Freeman.
Bush also had a tremendous year.
He did.
For the Cubs, he finally found himself because they've been platooning and trying to find a way to find somebody to replace him. Now they can't. Yandy Diaz quietly had a really good year for the Rays. And then, like, we've had 2 lists, and Sacramento's had 3 players on it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
They won't be on the pitching list.
But they won't be on any of the other lists. Maybe Wilson will be on the shortstop list, but maybe not. But then we get to review why we're idiots, which is always fun. And you had Vlad at 1, Harper at 2, who was 13, Olsen, Alonso, Naylor, Tristan Cassis. We both had him. He got hurt, but he sucked anyway. Freeman, Christian Walker. I think I had him a little higher. Spencer Steer. I also had him. Jake Berger.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was hurt, and he just didn't play well at all, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't even a little bit good. And if I can figure out how to get to there we go, to the next slide. I had Harper at 1, who I just traded because he pissed me off so much this year.
Yes. Vlad,
Freeman, Naylor, Olsen, Walker, Steer, Cassis, Jake Berger. And I remember why I had Alonso at 12. And the reason I had him at 12 is because I didn't know where he was going to play.
Okay.
He was unsigned when we did this, and he would have been much higher. If I knew at the time that we did this that he was going to be a Met, he probably would have been 5 for me. He wouldn't have been 12, and he certainly wouldn't have been number 1. Like, he just wouldn't have been. And now he's got all the leverage, 100% of it.
Sure, he does.
100. He put Steve Cohen in a really, really bad spot.
And then in the post-game presser after the season's over, he probably hadn't even showered yet. He's telling everybody who wanted to listen he was opting out. I'm like, wow, I'm going to wait for Walker clean out day for that.
Very weird, very strange, right? I mean, I'm sure he's an odd dude. He's an odd dude, right?
That was calculated, I'm
He's
sure.
this lovable, whatever, goofy idiot that he is. Like he's not a great fielding first baseman, so there's a little bit of a challenge with that. But I'm sure he's pissed. Like I'm sure he's angry that like he went into off season saying I want to finish my career as the Mets, and he ended up with a 1-year contract.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off. And he's probably at a point now where like I'm taken for granted here. It's Lindor and Soto's team. That's fine. It is what it is. It is Lindor's team. But like maybe it's time for me to go someplace else where I might actually be appreciated while I'm there. So his decision.
Can you imagine if he ended up in Toronto? Because Toronto was on him.
They were on him hard.
Yeah.
I think he sees himself like everybody else. They see themselves for being better at a lot of stuff than they actually are. And I think he sees himself as a Gold Glove first baseman, and he's like a concrete glove first baseman, which is a big difference. You don't have a lot of range. He's not like a great first baseman. And they wanted him to DH or split time with Vlad at first. So they go, you're gonna get 162. Vlad's gonna get 162. He might get 100 at first base. You might get 62 at first base. Like it was one of those things. But Toronto offered him a lot of money.
Yeah.
He might think differently now that he's sitting home with the rest of the Met players watching Toronto play. And if they went after him again, think, you know what, maybe I should have listened the first time. I do think the Red Sox are going to take a run at him, though. I think that's the guy they're going to take a run at. They don't need to sign. They need power in their lineup in the worst way. Schwarber doesn't really help them from any other facet of baseball than his power, because they've already got, unless they trade Duran, which I feel they should for a pitcher. He doesn't fix a problem for them. He fixes a power problem, but he creates more problems for them. You already have 4 outfielders. You already have extra infielders. If Story and Bregman opt back in or re-sign, like you got a glut of position players, adding a DH only is not going to help. And Schwarber can't play any position. And you're not going to teach him how to play first base in the offseason. He's not a have glove will travel guy. And I don't think Dombrowski's going to let him go. I
have a question for you. Why does Spencer Steer seem to get a lot of love in the spring? Not just from both of us. He seems well regarded in the fantasy community, but yet.
Because we can read. because we can read, and the ability to be able to read gets you trapped in your own brain sometimes. And he had a pretty good 2023.
Yeah.
And he played a little bit of everywhere in 2024 and had another good 2024. And coming into 25, like first base is a little bit of a hole for them. He's going to be first base every day, and he was hurt a little
homers, bit. Okay, 66 runs, that sucks. 75 RBIs, that's no good.
Yeah, but how many at bats?
509.
Still a lot.
It's not sick. He played 146 games.
Like even adding 10% to that, he played 146 games.
Jesus.
Yeah. He and Matt McClain are probably as much of the reason why they had to fight and scratch and claw to the end of the year to get into the playoffs as anybody.
You keep waiting for it. They showed you a flashback a couple of years ago, but we're talking a couple of years now where
it feels like their entire offense, doesn't it?
It's not good enough. Well, you're right. It is the whole offense.
Feels like the whole offense, except for Dela Cruz, right? Feels like the whole offense. Waiting for Encarnacion Strand, waiting for Marte, waiting for Friedel, waiting for this guy, waiting for that guy, waiting for this guy, waiting for that guy. And they're just a little bit above average major league players. It's not a bad thing. But from a fantasy standpoint, it's a horrible thing. Above average as a fantasy player is a bad thing.
I mean, last year he drove in 92. The year before, 23 homers, 86 RBIs, but he hit 225 last year. That's
not good.
No.
It's not good.
This was his age 27 year too. Yeah. Disappointing.
And that's why, and probably that statement right there is why he was so highly regarded coming into this season, right?
Yeah, maybe
2 good years, age 27 season, which seems to be the unlock year for most players, and he regressed. Not good.
No.
Not good. And strikeouts in Cincinnati seem to be like their number one priority. They strike out a lot. Yeah, like we did just bare our souls as to why we suck at fantasy this year. No question about that.
I can't believe we both ranked Jake Berger.
What? Why wouldn't we?
Yeah. It's easy to say that now.
He goes to a better lineup, coming off a really good year in Miami. He gets hurt, and then just like the rest of their lineup, he woefully underperforms when he's in the lineup. To the point where he might have he was also sent down to work on his swing. Like he went back to being a White Sox Jake Berger. He was not the Marlins Jake Berger. And we both thought in that lineup he was perfect.
Yeah.
Now you got some pop at first base, and he had none of that. He had none of that. Not one bit. So let's go back to catcher for a minute. Take Cal Raleigh out of the equation because we're probably both in the same boat with him. You're picking a catcher. You have to pick a catcher with your first pick next year. Who are you taking?
I have to pick a catcher with my first pick.
You have to
throw that list back up.
We're doing a draft. We're doing a draft where we're picking positionally. Round 1, you have to take a catcher. Who are you taking?
Part of me wants to say Langoliers just because he's getting better. He plays in a little league park and he DHs a lot. But you know who I would pick? You throw out factors of a guy's injury prone, whatever. I would take Will Smith.
Yeah, I'd probably take Baldwin, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Even though it's only a 1-year sample size. I would probably take Baldwin. Like Hunter Goodman wouldn't be a bad choice because he plays in that bandbox for half his games. It wouldn't be a bad choice. And now, since we both agree on Nick Kurtz, the person in front of you took Nick Kurtz.
Yep.
Now who you taking?
Oh.
Boy, what a catch.
I would take Guerrero because I think he's going to go back to where he was a year or two ago next year.
I probably would too.
Yeah.
If the Cubs re-sign Tucker, and I don't think they're going to. I think he's going to ask for way more money than his productivity dictates. And they're going to be like, yeah, there's other places for us to go. Bush would be a pretty solid pick. Where Naylor signs, and to me, that's where the Red Sox should go is Naylor.
Yeah.
But they won't. I don't think Seattle's going to let him leave town. They might be better. They might be more open to letting Suarez shop himself and trying to sign Naylor because of age and what Naylor brought, especially as a lefty in that lineup. I mean, I love Vinny Pasquantino.
Hey, I want to go back to Goodman a second. Here's interesting with him, right? I just called up his home and road splits. 307 hitting at home, 248 on the road, 13 homers in Coors Field, 18 on the road.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting. RBIs were pretty much the same. He scored 11 more runs at home, but yeah, whatever.
That's the splits for the reason that Larry Walker's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because his road home splits were pretty much the same when he was playing in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
It does negate the Coors factor, doesn't it?
A little bit, for sure.
Plus, he is a benefactor of being in a lineup on a team that gave up 1,000 runs this year. And when you're down 9-1, you just pitch to everybody.
True.
Like, whatever. He homered. Oh, boy. Now it's 9-2. And it's the 8th inning.
Right.
Nobody, who cares? They're not coming back. And if they do, they're going to bring somebody in that's going to give us another 11 runs anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Now, look, speaking of that, nice segue. The unanswered text I heard, or that I sent the other day, which not as valid as after Aaron Judge's home run last night. How much does Aaron Judge need to keep stepping up in these playoffs? Because I overheard in an office the other day from a Yankee fan saying right now Judge is like A-Rod in the playoffs. He'll hit a home run in the 8th inning of a game that they're down 9-2. Who cares? Now he hit the bomb last night.
He's hitting 555.
I know that, but the problem is he's conditioned.
He's hitting 555
out of the stadium every time instead of being a singles guy.
What pitches do you think he's getting? When you know you're going to be able to get Rice on a splitter and Stanton on a down and away slider, like what are you giving to him to hit? So he's hitting what he's getting. At the bottom line with him is the only way he's ever going to be considered one of the greatest Yankees of all time by Yankee fans is he's got to hoist a trophy. And that's a sad thing. It's a terrible thing in that organization because Dave Winfield was a great Yankee. Don Mattingly was a great Yankee. They didn't win.
No.
And when you and it's where the tradition hurts the team. Like Celtics fans know that. Like who's going to be a great? I mean, if the Celtics didn't win a title, Jason Tatum could have gone down as the best Celtic to never win.
Very possible.
Right? I mean, it's the Canadians face this in hockey. The Cowboys are going to face it forever.
Yes, they are.
I mean, you'd be a great quarterback, but you're not Roger Staubach. You can be a great quarterback, but you're not Terry Bradshaw. Like you can be a great quarterback, but you're not Joe Montana. Teams with multiple Super Bowls.
You're playing with an owner/general manager with no fucking clue.
Oh man, but he did get fined $250 for flipping off the Eagles fans. and then in typical Jerry fashion said I meant to put my thumb up. Like okay. That's a number the number of digits away from the thumb that the middle finger is not subconscious, bum. Like that's
Uh-oh. Sorry, Jimbo.
Jared. I saw a post from one of my people that I follow who's also a Cowboy fan. And he's like, if I was Jerry Jones, I'd pay him $1 million and walk around with $2 more $1 million checks in my pocket and just let fuck you money for the NFL. Because he's got it. I like that. Thanks.
That's good.
Thanks. Take your last win of the regular season and move on.
Oh boy. All right.
So next week we'll do second base and shortstop.
Middle infield.
We'll do the middle infield. That'll be an interesting conversation.
I'm sure we're both very astute.
Maybe we'll do second base, shortstop, and third base next week.
Yeah, and then we'll do outfield and pitching afterwards.
And then I'll hope that my co-host looks at the MLB schedule if the Yankees are still alive and doesn't make me half pay attention to this and pay attention to Jazz Chisholm bouncing balls off the heel of his glove.
Yeah, at least he retrieved it. Unlike, he took off that relay throw last night where, why would you be concerned about the runner on third base? Why would you think to turn and see what he's doing?
Why would you think an aggressive team that plays every batted ball like it's the last time they're going to make contact with a baseball is going to run there? I don't know why you'd think that.
Yes. No, I feel badly. The schedule has not worked out for your Yankee fandom the last 2 weeks, but
no, it's been good fodder for this podcast.
We'll see.
As I'm relatively calm.
We'll
and
see.
Devin Williams is now in the game, who will probably be closing for the Rangers next year, since he's a free agent and he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid based on before this year, and the second and the latter half of this year. He's definitely going to get paid. Why are they showing Jazz with a yellow glove versus Jazz with a blue glove? I'm sure Smoltz had something brilliant to say about that. What a dink.
All right. Well, they will be back next week. We're not sure if the Yankees will, but we'll see.
Yeah, we played more baseball than the Mets and Red Sox, didn't we?
You got that going for you.
Maybe this time next week I'll be all into fantasy baseball again.
It'll distract you from the New York Islanders season.
Who?
Bruins up 1-0 end of 2. That's one more win possibly than I thought we'd get all year.
3 more points than I thought we were going to get.
Exactly. All right. We are out.
Thanks, everybody. Jimbo, good to talk to you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Jim. Let's go Marlins. He threw a Let's Go Marlins in there.
Go Marlins.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, everyone.
Start a GoFundMe for a new FSU coach, man.
Yeah, right. Maybe get Billy Napier out of Florida. All right. Back to baseball, everyone. Enjoy.
See ya.